Howdy on Muglax Lives. I think it's time to play a little 7 Days to Die. So, squeeze some little recording session in here, in between my afternoon gaming session and my dinner before I go back to work, because afternoon gaming session takes place during work time. Figure I better get a little more wood in case I need some more of these. Why am I so cold? I'm wearing stuff. Well, I think I'm gonna head someplace warmer today. We've been in these cold biomes for a while now, so might as well head over to the green cities. I haven't been there in a while. And apparently my dude is freezing to death, so he would appreciate some warmth. Nope, it doesn't like something in here. So I watched a couple of old horror movies today. I mean, they're not extremely old, but 11 years is getting pretty old. One of my favorites, and it wasn't quite as good as I remember it, but it was still pretty good. I really like the Last Exorcism, and then I followed that up by watching The Last Exorcism 2. Very different movies. Very different movies. Different style of possession movies. I liked them both. I don't remember The Last Exorcism 2. I would assume I had watched it since it was a sequel to a movie I liked, but I did not remember it. And it definitely could have been better. But The Last Exorcism could have been better. So, The Last Exorcism, spoilers for both movies. I rather like the concept of when dealing with supernatural, religious-based creatures, that there is this element of that is a really tall tower. Like, woof. But there's this element of the person's belief wrapped into it, and it's not just. I guess what it does is take vampires for example. So you got your vampires where they hold up a cross, right, and they go, you know, and then they have other vampires where it doesn't matter to them. And there's two different ways, usually three. Let's go three. It's three different ways they do that with I guess technically four. Four different ways they do that vampires. Like I said, some are affected by religious iconography. Some are not affected at all. And others, it depends. And so there is the, depending on the mythos in the entertainment media you are consuming. Like a lot of times it's oh, it's a cross, right? And it doesn't matter uh, the vampire or the belief system of the person holding the cross. They're just and then the two alternates to the vampires are I have seen some where it depends on the belief of the vampire, and others where it depends on the belief of the person holding it. And so I really dig the belief of the person holding it when that happens. It's pretty rare for that to play out in a movie. But I do like that when it happens. I remember one of the first times I come across something like that. It was in Salem's Lot, I believe, by Stephen King, and the priest confronts a vampire in that book, and um, the priest has no faith, and so the cross has no power, and so I really like that uh, concept in that book. And then I guess I have a little bit of stuff I could unload here while I'm driving by, and um, but Stephen King stuff sometimes has a lot to do with belief. I mean, that's all it is about, right? Um, if you look at the kids in the, or even the adults in the It book or It movie, it's all about their belief in each other or it. Uh, and and so I like that. I like that it requires more of an active role in the um, person, the characters um, interacting with the monsters than just it works because the monster can't stand for whatever reason, and they give a lot. Like if you've ever watched a bunch of vampire movies or read a bunch of books about vampires, it's almost like every single one of them has got a different reason that stuff happens. And so, but it's interesting. And in the Last Exorcism, that's there aren't vampires in the Last Exorcism. Um, it's it's about um, this guy who was raised as a charlatan, I guess, and in the church, and so he was like a fake preacher, um, and and so as they go through the movie, they explain that uh, the uh, he had seen a child killed during I don't think he'd seen a child killed, but he had read an article about a child being killed during an exorcism about the time that his child was born, and so um, it really turned him off what they had been doing and what other people were doing, and so he, I don't know, because his child is like 10 years old or something. So I don't know why it took him 10 years to get to this point, but he decided he's had enough of it, and so he hires a documentary crew. It's a found footage movie. The first one is, which I kind of dig sometimes, and so they follow him to an exorcism, and so when he gets there, it's this girl, and he believes it's all fake because he's never seen a real exorcism, um, and so he doesn't believe in any of that stuff. It's just a part that he plays, and so they go in, and he's pretty sure he's figured it out. And mother died. Father keeps the kids at home, homeschools them, believes that the local church is too worldly, and so he has separated them from the outside world almost. And so he he figures it's got something to do with all of that, and so he sets up a fake exorcism. Man, it's gonna take another. I want to get some bullets going before I head back out here. And so he does this fake exorcism, and then he leaves. Well, then the girl shows up at his motel, like almost comatose, uh, and uh, and so then they get her back to her house, and she attacks her brother, and then the father has to take the brother to the hospital, and so they stay behind, and so they overhear a message on the answering machine that they had taken her to the hospital, and so the message on the answering machine said not to take the medicine they had sent home with her because they didn't know at the time that she was pregnant, and so then they thought, oh well, see, she's been sexually abused by her father, and so um, they stay there with her, and she like flips out and starts attacking them, and they wind up locking her in the room just like her father had been doing. Except he chained her to the bed, and they didn't chain her to the bed. And so then there's some pictures on the wall that she had made, and they come true at the end of the movie. But my the reason I like the movie so much is it's not like a high end special effects kind of thing, or anything like that. But they've got this really great scene at the end that I wish was just a little bit longer. There might be an extended version of that movie. I should look for that. But they're standing there, and they witness the cult that they had scoffed at the idea of um, summoning their demon using the girl's child, and um, 762 bullets. And so the uh, documentary people, right? They freaked out, and we're like, we got to get out of here. And so I really like the this particular part because the dude immediately, believes. And um, how did you get up here? No, I'm behind you. And so he does a little Latin prayer into his crucifix, and then stands up and walks toward the fire that had been used to summon the demon, which is basically the end of the movie. And so I really like that part. I really like how it's about his belief, um, and and then the second one is not that kind of movie. The second one is a possession movie, but that's it. It's not about belief or anything like that. It's just um, the cult is coming for her in her new life, and she can't remember exactly what happened, and you can't trust any of the people around her because they might be part of the cult, kind of thing. Um, but the end of that one, I was less impressed with. They tried to do a Carrie thing. Speaking of Stephen King, where uh, they I don't know. It's bizarre and it's not quite explained to the point that I would like. Um, but she's tainted by the demon still, even I guess. So she's tainted by the demon still, and so they try to exorcise her. Only the thing is that the first movie, right? The dude is a Protestant, preacher, and in the second movie they bring in like other, at least I'm not sure the dude that tried to perform the exorcism was a priest or a preacher or anything like that, which I guess is fine. I don't know what the deal was. He had like warding marks tattooed into his skin on his arms, and uh, but I'm pretty sure the one woman was trying some um, voodoo. Uh, I'm pretty sure it was voodoo. It's been a long time since I was versed in what she was doing. I versed. I've from looking something up, not practicing or studying or anything like that. Just oh yeah, yeah, I see. Okay. Or playing a video game that was heavily influenced by stuff like that. Um, uh, it might have been that other thing. San. San. Nope, I'm not gonna remember the name of it. San. There's a few of them that are in my mind, because the way my mind works, not similar to each other, but they're still grouped together in my head. Um, San. Because it's like what, voodoo and hoodoo and that South American one I can't think of the name of, that's tied heavily into Catholicism. Uh, San something. I can't remember. All I can think of is the word sangria, and it's not sangria. Uh, um, anyways, so they mix some of that in there, and then she just they tell her that the demon is too strong for them to get rid of, so they're gonna kill her instead. And so she accepts the whatever's going on, and basically turns into Carrie, because as she's driving down the road at the end of the movie, things are catching on fire. Um, I feel like they should have gotten the guy from the first movie to show up and put an end to it right at the end of the movie. Uh, I think they were going for like maybe another movie. I don't know if there's a third movie in this series, or they, who knows? Those horror movie franchises pop back up from time to time. But they were good. If you like that kind of thing, I really like the first one because of the whole belief thing. The second one was just a fun, possession kind of movie. Um, not as, I don't know. I want neither one is thought provoking to me, but along those like, I don't know. I just like the whole belief aspect, I guess. Um, I like that it requires an active participation on the side of the people involved. So the other thing that I did this weekend was, it's not out yet on American Netflix, but I did watch 10 episodes of the new Godzilla anime, and it's really good. Um, it's not amazing, but it's got a pretty good storyline, and it's not as goofy as I thought it was going to be from the trailer. And I am rather enjoying it. I think it's got 3 episodes left. It doesn't come out here until June 24th. Um, and it's currently showing 1 episode a week in Japan. And so you gotta wait for it all to play out in Japan before they release it here. Um, and so, um, but yeah, that one's pretty good. It's they haven't explained a lot that's going on yet, uh, but oh, I thought maybe I could knock him down before he slapped me. I did not. Uh, so they've got. I'm gonna say Godzilla bones. They've got Godzilla bones in the basement. Ooh, marksman rifle schematic. What am I using? A tactical assault rifle. What's the marksman? Is that... It also takes steel. And it takes rifle parts, which I'm pretty sure I don't have. I'm going to assume that's the sniper rifle. Whereas this is the assault rifle. That's cool, though. I definitely want to make one of those. See if I like it better than what I've got. I really like what I've got, though. I used to use the sniper rifle in this game all the time, and then I switched to the assault rifle. Because if your finger doesn't hold down the button too long, which mine sometimes does, you get single shots out of it. And so with a scope, it's basically the same thing as a sniper rifle. But yeah, so they get a signal from these bones, right? And they summon Rodans. I've never seen a flock of Rodans before. Rodan is like a giant pterodactyl. I know in the new American movies, uh, it's fire Rodan in the new movies. It's like on fire, and but normal Rodan is just basically a pterodactyl. Um, Probably a Quetzalcoatl rather than a pterodactyl. It's bigger, and so these are kind of like that, but they've got this whole red dust thing that's happening with the monsters. that they've only partially explained so far. And so when the Rodan fly, they spew out this red dust behind them, and uh, but they're having problems living in our environment because they're not from our environment. But so Rodan, that's fun. There's they get a couple of episodes in, and there's um, thousands of these things. And they also have Jet Jaguar, who's in a single Godzilla movie. Um, and he's like this robot that can think for itself in the Godzilla movie. It also changes size in the old Godzilla movies where it comes from. In this one, though, it's being built by the one of the main groups that they follow, and so they keep tinkering with it and adding to it. And it currently has an AI piloting it because the movie or the anime takes place in 2030, and so they have AI assistants. And so one of the main characters is a programmer who programmed his own AI assistant. I mean, the one character runs around with a robot following her, like a little robot, and nobody seems shocked by it. So, and someone else mentions that they were looking for a dependable cleaning robot. So I assume they must have robots, although they don't make much of an appearance. And so they've built this Jet Jaguar robot, although it's not technically a robot, it's a mech. Because the guy who designed it is this crazy old guy, and he pilots it. And he's in the trailer. He's the thing that made me think this was going to be a goofy anime, but it's not. It's surprisingly fairly serious, and they're at a world-ending event with all these monsters. Oh, dang it! Where'd that wolf come from? I just had a world-ending event right there, and so then at sea they've got Manda, which is this giant, thin Chinese-style dragon in the Godzilla stuff, and so in this show it's more of a sea serpent because there are some slight differences. And then Anguirus showed up, which is cool. It's been a while since Anguirus showed up in something, and Anguirus is like a Ankylosaurus. I did not want that. I don't need another puffer coat. Who in the older Godzilla movies is like Godzilla's best friend kind of thing, because you know Godzilla needs a best friend, and you know I think I don't have a bandana. There, you got a bandana now. And so they fight that one a little bit, and then I mean, there's only 13 episodes planned for that I'm. There's only 13 episodes for the first season, and only 10 of them are out right now. And so it's mostly about the people. The monsters don't make as big of a scene so far. There hasn't been like monsters fighting monsters for the most part. Except for in the last couple episodes, Godzilla finally arrives. Only it's not normal Godzilla. It's kind of like Shin Godzilla. It's a movie from a couple of years ago, where Godzilla mutates over the course of the series, and so this one starts as a seagoing creature, and it follows the Manda into Tokyo. Maybe I honestly didn't pay attention to where they're at. Um, and then it also is spewing red dust, and so everything is covered in red dust. Like the atmosphere has turned red, and people are running around in gas masks and stuff. Um, and they don't know what's going on. And they explained there's a group called the Shiva Corporation, or the Shiva Group, I guess, that are aware of what the red dust is. It's they call it archetype, which is this material that can't be made unless you already have it. And so it's some kind of higher dimensional um, time travel stuff is involved in this storyline. I mean, they haven't actually time traveled, but like Anguirus apparently is able to see a couple of minutes into the future, and so it moves the spines on its back in ways that reflect the bullets that are being fired at it, um, and stuff like that. And so, uh, but it's been pretty good. Like I said, it's been pretty slow going, and it's mostly it's not slow going in a bad way though. Every episode is like a cliffhanger. And so they, like I said, first it starts with like a Rodan, and then it's a lot of Rodans. They're trying to survive, and so it just keeps getting worse and worse as more and more creatures are showing up. And then like I said, Godzilla shows up, and then um, who I don't know if I have iron boots. I definitely need those parts. And I do have iron boots, but these are tier 2s. And so they got this scientist girl. I don't remember what her name is. I'm terrible with names. And so she understands some of what's going on, and so the Shiva group has taken her in and is using her genius to decipher more of the notes they are using to do what they're doing, whatever it is. I have a feeling it's not good, because they've shown like this big giant pit that was full of red dust that they've built a silo over top of this red dust pit, and then a monster comes out of it, right? And stuff like that. And so, but it's been really good so far. It's a really solid sci-fi movie or series that happens to have Godzilla in it. Although, like I said, he just showed up. Oh dang it, dog! He just showed up and um, is not in his Godzilla form quite yet. I mean, you can tell it's Godzilla. They call it Godzilla, but it's definitely not fully formed Godzilla yet. Um, Although it might have been at the end of episode 10, I don't know. It's got a whole new breath weapon style, so I can't tell if we're almost to Godzilla's regular breath weapon. It was pretty awesome. I do have to say their animation of the monsters is excellent, and watching Godzilla fire a nuclear breath blast through buildings They do this really cool thing where it hits a building and then it melts through the building and then it comes shooting out the other side to hit the next building. And of course, it's anime, so it's all, spectacularly animated as it tears its way through stuff. So yeah, I am pretty pleased with the new Godzilla anime. I was a little worried about it. I was going to enjoy it regardless. There's only one Godzilla movie I don't care for, and that is whatever the anti-bullying one is, just because it's weird. But I was most likely going to enjoy it, even if it was goofy. My fear was that if it was too goofy, people wouldn't like it, and then it wouldn't get, multiple seasons like I had read they had planned. But it's good. It's really good, and I can't wait to watch the whole thing when it gets onto Netflix on June 24th. Um, the whole first season, I mean. Um, I'm not even to the end of first season, and I can't wait for the next one. uh, all right, with that, be better than small things, lean to the light. I will talk to you later.